Recorded live in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Trivial Warfare. More than just a pub quiz, Trivial Warfare is your gateway to a worldwide trivia community. Join your hosts, Jonathan.
We just described Ric Flair as Neanderthal Man and Planet of the Apes.
Chris.
Yo, we going down to Sesame Street.
That's your impression of hardcore rap?
Carmela.
That would irritate the hell out. I'm like, I just want my groceries. My ice cream is melting.
Ben.
4 halogens in that list. Oh my God.
You were like, it's not the halogens. I'm like, no, Ben, no.
Those damn halogens got me again.
And the rest of the Trivial Warfare Army for another week of fun and games. Now here's your host, Jonathan Oakes.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Trivial Warfare. We are the podcast that takes the pub quiz out of the pub and brings it home to you. My name is Jonathan, and I am here today with Carmela Smith. Hello, Carmela.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, welcome back. I see there is a giant blue ball in the background. Oh, we have a guest visitor with one of our guests as a guest. So let me just jump here. Marny Helfrich is with us on the show today, and Marny has a visitor hanging over her shoulder. Who was that, Marny?
That is my 13-year-old daughter, Grace.
Oh, hi, Grace.
Hi. She can't hear because I have headphones plugged in, but I'll tell her that you're saying hi.
We always love visitors. I think it's great. Okay, well, I might as well just jump right through then. So, Marny, we're glad you're here. Chad Birnbaum is also with us today. Hey, Chad.
Hello there.
Welcome to the show. Glad you are here. And last but not least, we have a special guest, Dustin Resch. He's a Resha guest. Is with us today. Hey, Dustin.
Love it. How are you?
I thought it would sound good, and it actually did. I liked it. Oh, so Carmela, back to you.
Yes.
I want to get to know everybody better, but I do want to say hi to you. We haven't really talked much. You have a giant blue ball in the background here. What's the scoop?
I have a pretty severe back problem. So that's kind of a way for me to stretch my back out throughout the day. Because I sit in this little square that you see me in pretty much all day, every day. This is where I work. It's where I edit. It's where I record.
Be careful with headphones. Let me tell you can get a bald strap across the middle of your head real fast from headphones if you do them all day.
I think I've told you this before. I've got at least 5 pairs of headphones around me. I've got these I use for recording. I have a pair of headphones I use for work calls. I have a pair of headphones I use for my phone when I'm listening to music. And then I have ones for like when I watch things on my iPad that are like in the corner of my desk. I have headphones everywhere.
You are a master of the headphones, apparently.
But it's become a problem.
Does the giant ball stretching actually help?
Yeah, because I have a gaming chair, which is fairly comfortable, but over time you just start to kind of compress down. So it's nice to actually kind of stretch my back out, especially since I have a slight curve in my spine. So I get more pressure on one side than the other. So
I hear you. I'm wishing I had something like that right now. I played volleyball for the first time in over a year last night, and for only the second time in like 3 or 4 years. And I played for 2 hours competitively. I love volleyball. It's my favorite sport to play. God, I'm hurting. My inside arm looks like hamburger. It looks like a 13-year-old's face covered in red spots.
Oh no.
It was dramatic. So yeah, I wish I could stretch out over a ball right now.
Yeah, it's actually really good for things like, as part of my back problem, I have a problem with my sciatic nerve. So it also relieves the pressure off of that for a while too. So, which might be beneficial for you as well, sir. Absolutely.
All right. Now that I feel like we've connected again, I feel good. Well, let's get to know our guests. So Marny, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Hey, I'm Marny Helfrich. I'm from Columbia, Maryland, which is in the greater Baltimore, Washington traffic zone. It's sort of about halfway in between the two. And I work for the state of Maryland for the State Department of Education in the Division of Special Early Intervention and Special Education Services. So we help our local school systems across the state improve their services for kids with disabilities.
That's cool. I love that.
Yeah, it's good work. And something fun about myself actually relates to the 13-year-old who stuck her head in a minute ago. And if she comes back and she needs something, or I need to get on her a little bit, I'll be able to do that without interrupting the recording, because in addition to spoken English, we use American Sign Language in our family. So kind of a fun thing about us.
That is cool. What led you down that path? Why did you start?
She's deaf, and so she has cochlear implants, so she uses spoken English and sign language, but sign language was her first language. So
very, very cool. All right. Well, it's great to have you here today.
Thank you.
Chad, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Sure. So I'm originally from Southern California, Palm Springs to be specific, and then around the LA area. Currently living in Texas City, Texas, which is actually a real place. It's just outside of Houston, toward Galveston. Moved out here for a career, which I'm no longer doing, and I'm a cybersecurity student at the moment. I decided to do a career switch right when I had a newborn, just do everything all at once. But I'm very happy with that decision, and left my former career of lifeguard and lifeguard training for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and fun thing, my son, newborn, he's almost 5 months. We did name him Alexander after the late and great Alex Trebek.
Oh, that's so cool. I can't help but notice that you are a person who takes care of people, even with your career switch. You switch from being somebody who protects people to somebody who's going to protect people. Which is pretty cool. It's a great field to get into. You already know, but my God, is cybersecurity going to be one of the big cash cows of the future?
That's the plan.
I love it. Well, it is great to have you here. And Dustin, you're hosting, but you're still a guest. So tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
I'm from Aurora, Colorado, which is in the greater Denver fire danger area lately. I'm an artist and a children's book author. As the career change I'm trying to make much later into my life, I wanted to jump in earlier about the back trouble stuff. I just had surgery for that exact same curvature and sciatic problem a couple months ago. And I can second the ball being a great idea and take care of it before it gets so bad that you have to have somebody poke around in there.
Yeah, it's on the list.
And you know what? Drew Bucksbaum just was on the last episode, who also just had that similar back surgery. Drew, get yourself a giant blue ball. You can go with the other two. And just as always, if we have any children's books agents or folks who have any influence in that industry, reach out, because Dustin is fantastic and he should be delighting children everywhere with his work right now.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I have a fantastic agent, but we definitely need editors that are ready to buy some stuff.
I love it. All right, so now that we know everybody, I think it's time to get rolling. Let's get going with Warm It Up. Chris.
It's time to warm it up on Trivial Warfare today. And there's only one person who can warm it up for the TWA, and that's Chris. And sometimes Jonathan.
Okay, for Warm It Up, Chris, I want to give you all a list of bands and musicians, and I want you to tell me whether they were at the Monterey Pop Festival in 1967 or the Woodstock Festival in 1969, or both.
Oh, my God.
It's just a simple either or both scenario. I'm going to go in order on my screen clockwise, which has got Jonathan first, then Carmela, then Marny, then Chad. So, Jonathan, Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix was definitely at Woodstock. I'm just going to say just Woodstock. I don't know if he was at the point of his career where he would have played Monterey. So I'll say just Woodstock.
The really famous footage of him lighting a guitar on fire on stage was from his appearance at Monterey. So he was at both.
Boo hiss. Both. Changing my answer to both.
Carmela, you're second, and yours is Otis Redding.
I think he was at Woodstock, but he very well could have been. I don't know. I wasn't around then. So I'm going to say, let's say he was at both. Let's see what happens.
Otis was just at Monterey because he passed away before Woodstock happened.
So I was right. I didn't think he was at Woodstock.
Marny, you're up next, and it's The Who.
Who?
Let's see. You could possibly have picked a category that's worse for me than music, but it would have been hard. I'm just happy that so far I've heard of all the people that you've mentioned. So I'm going to guess that they were at Monterey, but not Woodstock.
The Who were at both.
Okay.
Okay, and Chad, you get Richie Havens.
So I've heard of everyone so far except for him. So I might lose some credit there. And I feel like I know Woodstock, so I'm going to say just Monterey.
He was only at Woodstock and was the opening act.
Oh, there we go.
What is a famous Richie Havens song?
Yeah, you'd think I'd have come prepared with that, and I'm blanking.
I mean,
right now.
I'm trying to think of who he is too, and I can't think of a song.
Yeah, I heard him.
I absolutely know who he is. Freedom was the name of his biggest song.
Freedom.
He's worth checking out. Beautiful voice and a folk storyteller, kind of a singer.
Oh, very cool.
And we're back up to Jonathan for the Animals.
Eric Burden and the Animals. I will say both.
Just Monterey.
No!
We're batting a big 0 all the way around. I had a feeling this would play tough, but hopefully you've all heard of most of them, and it won't be the most boring warming up Chris you've ever had.
We've heard of them. We just don't know which festivals they played.
Right.
Yeah, I'll admit I hadn't heard of the Monterey Festival before you mentioned it.
Oh, no. There's a
I'm right
great
there with
film you should look up sometime. It's really good. I think we're on Carmela and the Steve Miller Band.
Ooh. They were at both.
Just Monterey.
Let's see. I want to know if we will unintentionally get them all wrong, which would be really, really and truly a hell of a unlikely thing.
It would, mathematically.
It happened in a warm it up Chris in 300 and some odd episodes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different kind of perfect game.
We got close in my last episode, so not getting any right. I apologize that you're getting some of the rougher ones, Marny, but Ravi Shankar.
Let's say Woodstock.
He was at both.
There he is. We're still perfect.
Okay, Chad, you got the Mamas and the Papas.
Oh, boy. Just Woodstock.
Just Monterey.
Still
All right, we're through
perfect.
8 with no correct answers.
Two
I feel pretty
perfect
good about
rounds.
my choices. Back up to Jonathan for Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I do believe they were at Woodstock. I don't know where they're from, but they don't strike me as a California-based band. I'm going to say just Woodstock.
You are the combo breaker, sir. It was just Woodstock.
I did it! I did it!
All right.
All right, nice job.
You ruined our streak.
Yeah.
Well, I say you
hopefully
have
he
to be.
started a new streak. Let's get
It
him all
has to
right
be
for a while
unintentional for it to be special.
here. Let's see. We're at Carmela with Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh, they seem like they're from out west. I'm going to say they were at both.
They were just at Woodstock. They are a California band, but I think they were just getting big when Monterey came around.
Okay.
Marny, the Grateful Dead.
Let's say they were at both.
They were at both.
Hey, another one right. That's 2 out of
right.
11.
And Chad,
bad.
you've got
11.
Jefferson Airplane.
Oh, boy. Okay. I think I've said this every single time. I'm going to continue just Woodstock.
They were both.
Well, there we go.
All right, one more time around.
Jonathan, let's go with Arlo Guthrie.
I have to think that Arlo was at Woodstock. You know what? I think he'd be at both. I'd say both.
Just Woodstock.
No!
Carmela Joan Baez.
Oh, I've said both for all of them, so might as well keep going. Both.
Both is right.
Yay! It's bound to happen.
Yay.
All right. And Marny, you get Janis Joplin.
Let's say just Monterey.
She was at both.
Oh, I would have thought just Monterey, too. That was a good answer.
And then the last one, Chad, is Santana.
Ooh. Am I going to get it right this time with just Woodstock?
I think that's one right answer for everybody.
Yes.
Yay.
Nice.
All right. And that is your Warm It Up, Chris, of the episode. I don't know. I'm feeling lukewarm. I'm feeling like I think I started to warm up at the end there. Look, Carmela's looking flexible, so that's good. Also, when your headphones are down above your eyes, like just covering your eyes like that, it looks very sci-fi. I'm just saying.
I watched Star Trek Next Generation a lot as a kid, so I used to like to pretend I was Geordi and put my headband in front of my eyes.
All right.
It's extra cool with the pointy cat ears on there.
Right.
So this is going to be episode number 374. Very excited about this. If you haven't yet, you should download the Trivia-Matic app. Using the Trivia-Matic app, you can play along with the game as soon as we get started. I was thinking today, it used to be that people asked me, hey, you should put a score sheet. You should create a score sheet that I could print out so I could play along. And I was thinking, man, we're so further past a score sheet now. This thing is intense. So go to your app store, download Trivia-Matic, and hit the Play Now button and use code 915642. That's code 915642. And you'll be able to play along with us as we're playing. So give it a try. Also, if you want to hear more Trivial Warfare, and let's be honest, who doesn't? It gives you an excited feeling every time you see that we've dropped something new. Be sure to go to trivialwarfarearmy.com and sign up at the $5 a month level or higher, and you will get access to over 200 shows that you cannot hear any other way from our archives. I'm going to be moving some things into the archive soon, so it's going to be even more than 200, probably up around 250, maybe even 300. No, not 300, 250 at least, though. So now is a good time to jump in, trivialwarfarearmy.com. And I think this is going to be a fabulous game. The matchup is Marny and Jonathan versus Chad and Carmela. Dustin is hosting, and it's time to play the game.
Players. Oh, yeah. Y'all know what time it is. This is Mr. Literature himself, cordially inviting you to the game. This is 6 rounds of trivia goodness. 3 questions per round. Every right answer gets you 10 points. In the middle, we'll take a pause for the cause and ask a midpoint question worth up to 20 juicy points. After round 6, you can wager any or all those points you've been building up and take a shot at the final round. It's a series of theme-based questions we call the Gauntlet. It's just that easy, baby. But this game ain't gonna play itself, players. Let's get it on.
All right, Dustin, take it away.
Okay. There's a hidden theme among all the questions and answers of this game that may help with some of the later questions. I don't want anybody shouting it out, but if you figure it out, it might be helpful to you.
Okay.
So question number 1 is in comics. What was the name of Superman's primary human nemesis beginning in Action Comics number 23 in 1940? In most depictions, he shares a haircut with yours truly.
We're locked in.
Yeah, and Marny, you just sent me what I think the right answer is, too.
Ready?
Yeah, I think we should go Lex Luthor. Not to be thrown off by the Gene Hackman version in Superman number 1, who had hair. Still the best Lex Luthor, by the way, Gene Hackman. But yeah, we're saying Lex Luthor for sure.
Okay. Other team?
I don't know. I kind of like the Smallville version.
Hey, he's
Lex
good.
Luthor.
He's good too.
Michael Rosenblum? It's Rosen something.
Sounds right.
But yeah, I thought he was great. But we also said Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor is correct. Okay. Question number 2 is in sports. I was really expecting somebody to go sports.
Sorry, I was typing a message.
In 1985, the New York Yankees retired the jersey number 10 in honor of what shortstop who also famously provided the play-by-play baseball commentary contained in Meatloaf's Paradise by the Dashboard Lights?
Oh.
I know the song very well, but I don't know shit about baseball.
Unfortunately, I'm in the same boat as you with baseball.
Okay, if that rings a bell for you, then that's what I needed to hear. We will lock in.
Yeah, sorry, Carmela, I'm not huge with that, especially from the 80s. You know, I'll use the old excuse, before I was born.
Wow. Now you're going to make me feel really old. I'm probably the oldest person on this call.
Well, actually, Bat Out of Hell, where that album that song is on is from 1979.
And it's a great album. Front to back,
is a great album.
A great album.
Yeah, so actually Meatloaf passed away earlier this year. He passed away in the end of January. I don't know the answer to this though. I don't even have a good guess. I can't name a Yankees player that hasn't played in the last 20, 30 years. Like, Derek Jeter is like my only like real reference to the Yankees as an A-Rod.
And an A-Rod, right?
A-Rod.
Yeah, an A-Rod.
Kind of
and I mostly know A-Rod because of J-Lo. So. But I'm not gonna have a good answer for this. We could just
Lucky Johnson.
Let's try to Johnson. Let's see what happens.
I like Lucky Johnson.
Okay. So Carmela and Chad with Johnson, and Jonathan, what did you lock in with?
So Marny, you said I think I'll know it if I hear it.
Yeah, I know I've heard this discussed before, probably on a trivia podcast, because that's usually where I hear these kind of things, that the person whose commentary it was didn't like the way it was used in the song because he was Catholic and didn't like this sort of association with his chatter with people having a good time in a way that the Pope might not approve of. But I couldn't pull the name because I'm from Baltimore, and what we say in Baltimore is we root for two baseball teams, the Orioles and whoever is playing the Yankees. So I try not to think about the Yankees too much. So I wouldn't have come up with the name, but Jonathan shared one that sounded right to me. So that's what we went with.
Yeah, so I knew that the shortstop that I most associate with the Yankees and being an announcer and having a retired number is Phil Rizzuto. So that was the name that I suggested, and she said that sounded about right. So we went with Phil Rizzuto.
The correct answer is Lucky Rizzuto.
You just pulled a Lucky Rizzuto. That's all you need.
For full disclosure, I wouldn't have known this either, but my teammates that were play testing are much better at baseball than I am. And
did Andy test for you?
Andy and Jeffrey, yeah.
Well, that's not fair.
Andy's going to get every question right.
Give Andy a baseball question.
I didn't. He gave me the baseball question. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't have written one on my own.
Oh, okay. That's well done then.
We were lucky that it wasn't a lot harder than that. It was only pretty hard, not extremely hard than if they were writing them.
And number 3 is music.
Music.
Absolutely dominating the 41st Annual Grammy Awards in 1999 with 5 wins and 5 more nominations, the album of the year that year was called The Miseducation of Whom?
Do y'all want a 3-2-1 this? I think we're all going to get it.
Yeah, I can 3-2-1 it.
Yeah, Marny, you are correct. Dustin, why don't you count us down?
All right, you ready?
Sure.
3, 2, 1.
Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill is correct.
And they're still waiting for her to show up to that ceremony.
But at the end of the first round, I have 30 for Jonathan and Marny and 20 for Carmela and Chad.
I like it.
Okay. Round number 2. The first question is in art, which I think needs its own sound effect.
I know. I don't know what to say for art yet. Art.
Sounds like a seal.
I know. I want to art.
Well, that's not bad.
That is not bad, actually, now that you say it.
I can improve that message. Okay. What was the name of the American painter from Rhode Island whose unfinished portrait of George Washington has appeared on the $1 bill for more than a century?
Yes. Okay. So that's okay.
That's the best I'm going to come up with, but I'm open to something else if you have a different idea.
Okay. Then we'll lock in.
So I know I've heard this that far back. It would have been an English name. So probably, I don't know, from when Rhode Island was a colony.
Yeah, and unfinished too. And it's not by chance the same person who did Washington Crossing the Delaware, is it?
I don't think so.
Not that I know who that is off the top of my head anyway, but
I feel like he had a similar name to like one of the royal houses, like right now Windsor is the house in the royal house. So like wouldn't have been like a Tudor. Don't think they're related at all. I just know that they had like a similar name. So like a Tudor or a Stuart or a Windsor even. I don't know.
If like a Sussex or one of those. I know those are more.
Those are more regions, yeah. But I don't know this. I can't pull that. It's not going to be Johnson.
No.
We do a Smythe.
Smythe's a good name. There you go. It might be a relative of yours. You never know.
Yeah, well, you know. Wasn't originally a Smith either.
True.
So, yeah, let's just go with that because I'm not going to have anything better.
That's fine. Yeah.
All right.
So the only famous portrait of Washington whose painter's name I could come up with is the one that I know that I think of because it's the one that Dolly Madison saved from the White House when the British burned Washington during the War of 1812. And I'm pretty sure that the painter's name is, I think it's Gilbert Stuart. So Carmela and I were clearly thinking along the same lines, but we locked in Stuart because I'm not positive about the first name. And that might not be the right Washington portrait, but it was the only painter of a Washington portrait I was going to come up with. So that's what we went with.
When she
Stuart.
said it was somebody who had the name of a royal house, I was like, oh, this sounds really good for our answer.
And
Or at least it might be the same wrong answer, but we were thinking the same way.
Chad and Carmela, I'm not sure what you actually locked in with.
Smythe.
Okay, the Royal House of Lucky Smythe. Gilbert Stewart is the correct answer.
All right,
and
nice
he did
job,
more than one
Marny.
portrait. I think it was a different one that was rescued, but
Okay.
I think you're right about that story.
Carmela, you were so close.
Yeah.
The other portrait painters from sort of around that time period I could think of were the Peels, but they're from Baltimore. So when you said from Rhode Island, that ruled them out for me.
And just for you and the listeners, Emanuel Leutze painted the Crossing the Delaware painting.
Thank you.
Cool.
I went and Googled it while you were debating. I didn't have that in the top of my head either.
You didn't bring that art knowledge from your professional background?
No, my art history background is much worse than my technical art background.
Fair enough.
Surprisingly, doesn't do a lot of presidential portraits.
But he could.
No, I've done a couple sketchy ones, but yeah. So number 2 in round 2 is film. What was the name of the 1971 ABC Movie of the Week, written by Richard Matheson and starring Dennis Weaver, that also happened to be the feature-length directorial debut of a little nobody named Steven Spielberg?
This is incredibly frustrating because I know that we've done something with this recently, and I can't even remember it from the thing from recently.
The problem is that I can, and it's not helping me.
And I think I heard that episode, but it's not helping me either.
Well, if you can and it's not helping you, then this isn't what I think it is.
You may have reached the point of diminishing returns.
Yeah, I think we have.
I need some of those Squid Game laser eyes. Keep you all in line.
We're gonna lock in with our what is most certainly the wrong answer.
Okay.
Marny, I don't know. You don't know. Would you like to guess? Why don't we guess a room with a view?
Sounds good.
All right. We'll say a room with a view.
All right. So the thing you're trying to remember, Jonathan, is I wrote a question about Rod Serling's Night Gallery.
Yes, Night Gallery. I would have answered that if I'd have thought of it.
Which was his first directing job. He directed part of the pilot for that show, which they're kind of like little movies, but it's not feature length. It's not the right answer. And also that started in the late 60s. But we didn't have another answer. We went with Night Gallery.
Okay.
Night Fever.
The movie that I'm talking about, Dennis Weaver was being pursued by a vindictive and invisible 18-wheeler driver throughout California, and it's called Duel.
Duel.
Oh.
An invisible is the 18-wheeler invisible, or is the driver
you just never see
invisible?
Faceless, I should say, not invisible. He's faceless, menacing 18-wheeler driver.
Okay, so this is like prelude to Terminal Velocity.
Yeah, it's very much a psychological thriller.
Is that Duel like Burr Hamilton or Duel like 2 of something?
Oh,
D-U-E-L or D-U-A-L?
Like I Challenge You to A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a Maximum Overdrive. Was that the?
That's the one I was trying to think of. Not Terminal Velocity.
That one was crazy.
Brain dead.
Great soundtrack, though.
All right.
Okay. Number 3 is history.
History.
All right. What one of the early United States presidents was the only one to follow up his presidency with a stint as a congressman in the House of Representatives? He served Massachusetts for 17 years in the House.
Oh, I do too. We're on the same place. We are locked in.
Oh, I knew this at one point.
Yeah, one of those that definitely was in my brain. Now I don't know where it is.
There was a president that moved from being the president to being a Supreme Court justice. I think that might have been Taft. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's funny because Taft was in my brain, and that's I think why.
But for representatives, it would have been someone in the 1800s. Taft would have been 1900s. So someone like was it Grover Cleveland? I mean, I know he's famous for having the non-consecutive stuff, but I feel like he also did something else.
It would have been after his second, I assume.
It would have been after the second one. Maybe I'm mixing my G's up. Maybe it could have been I think, did Garfield die in office?
I believe he was assassinated, right?
Okay.
He was succeeded by Odie.
Yeah, because then Arthur took over. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said.
I'm trying to make sure I'm not mixing my people up. But I honestly, I don't know. Like I said, I knew this at one point, but I don't know it right now.
I'm fine with Cleveland. He jumped out at you first. So.
All right. We'll say Cleveland.
Marny, you had Thunder. Thunder! Tell us about it. What do you know?
So I'm pretty sure that John Kennedy actually wrote about this president in Profiles in Courage about the fact that he served in Congress and was one of the advocates of abolition when he was serving in the Congress. And I'm pretty sure that it's John Quincy Adams.
Oh, that would make sense.
John Quincy Adams is the correct answer. Nice job.
Yeah.
Nice pull.
At the end of round 2, I have Jonathan and Marny with 50 and Carmela and Chad with 20.
Oh boy.
Yep, we can get anything right in that round.
We're close.
Yeah, we were close.
Closer than we got, but you didn't get. You got what Jonathan was trying to think of, but it wasn't the right answer.
Okay, on to round 3. Number 1 is literature.
Literature.
The Rodgers and Hammerstein musical South Pacific was based on a similarly named novel by what legendarily long-winded author?
Yeah, let's go ahead and lock in, Marny.
Okay.
So you threw out Fitzgerald. Probably would have been from the same time frame.
Not his style, though, I don't think.
No. You wanted the name of the author?
Yes, the name of the author, please.
Hemingway was pretty long-winded, and he, if it's got a kind of war-ish theme to it, then I would lean more Hemingway than Fitzgerald.
That sounds good to me. That makes sense.
Okay, then that's what we'll go with.
Marny, you had confidence on this one too, so much so that I just deferred and said, "Let's go with yours." You sound like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is an author who is sort of known for writing very thick books with place names. Like I think another one of his books was called Texas, and this is James Michener.
James Michener is correct.
Wow.
Yeah, he wrote
Good job.
Poland and Centennial and Chesapeake, and they're all 1,000+ page tomes.
Yeah, that's right. He did. That's probably why he's especially in my head, because he did write a book called Chesapeake about this part of the world where I'm from.
Cool. I wouldn't have gotten that.
Yeah, good pull.
Round 3, question 2 is in science.
Science.
Dr. Peggy Whitson is a pioneer with many firsts under her belt. First female commander of the International Space Station, NASA's most experienced astronaut of any gender with 665 days of total time in space. With the exception of her first mission on the Space Shuttle Endeavour, all of Dr. Whitson's trips to orbit have taken place on what type of rocket that takes off from Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan?
We're going to lock in.
All right, so this sounds like it's all very recent, current, last 20 years kind of stuff, because it's after probably the shuttle program was ended. Yeah, see, you're thinking Soyuz is the name of things. I thought the same name. The Soyuz were the ones that the Russians were using in the 70s, even and the 60s.
Okay, it's the only rocket name I could come up with.
I don't know any better. I don't have any other answer, so we'll just say Soyuz, knowing that we don't have the knowledge to answer well.
Okay, and Carmela and Chad?
Well, I'm hoping that your knowledge is matching our knowledge, because we also said Soyuz.
Oh.
Yeah, I just visited NASA again 2 days ago. I live like 20 minutes from it, and they have a big wall of plaques of all the astronauts and the missions, and that comes up a lot on all the pictures after the shuttles. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they've been flying for a long time. I don't think you're wrong about that time frame, Jonathan. They're just still using them. They're the workhorse. It is Soyuz.
Wow.
Good job, everybody.
Didn't expect to get that one right.
No,
how we've been getting to space for the last 15 years. So
I didn't know. I didn't expect to get it right either till Carmela said it, and then I think you could add to the list of never get involved in a land war in Asia, never go against Carmela on a space question.
I just
felt good about that one.
I was trying to think. I'm like, it's a Russian word, and he's like, Soyuz. I'm like, yeah, that's it. So really, that was Chad.
Okay. Round 3, question 3. In current events, Antony Blinken is the current holder of what appointed office in the Biden administration? Previous holders of the post include Mike Pompeo, Madeleine Albright, and Alexander Haig.
Hey, Blinken. Did you say a Blinken?
No, I said, hey, Blinken.
Marny, I agree with you. I think we should lock that in. We're locked in.
The current Attorney General is Merrick Garland is the current Attorney General. This is Secretary of State.
Got it.
Boy, you had me panicking for a second when the first thing you said was Attorney General. I'm like, oh crap, really? I don't remember that.
No, we're going with sex state.
Yep.
Okay. Other team?
Did you say you're going with sex tape?
No, Jonathan.
It didn't sound right. I was like, how did we go with sex tape? I thought we were talking about the government.
Well, they do go hand in hand sometimes, right?
Yeah, anyway.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Oh my goodness! All right, I guess we'll go with sex tape too. No,
How rumors get started.
Yeah, Marny's all over it. She's like Secretary of State, 100% booyah. I'm like, okay, got it. Didn't have to add the booyah. I believed you.
Secretary of State is the Secretary of Correct.
Nice. That's the end of the third round, and if I'm saying this correctly, you guys check my math here, but I see 80 to 40.
I
got some
concur
right,
with 80 to 40.
80 to 40.
Got some right, but they gained ground.
All right,
Okay.
Marny and Jonathan have a strong lead going into the midpoint.
The second half is nothing but space questions.
Yes. I'm ready.
And I had that isn't true, but I had no idea who was going to play when I wrote this. For the midpoint, in honor of Katie Sikelski, who helped me steal this hosting gig today, the midpoint is okay, start over. I put in words that I can't pronounce. How about that? In honor of Katie Sikelski, who helped me steal this hosting gig today, the midpoint is of an ornithological nature.
Oh, birds.
I will give you 5 sets of descriptive names of types of birds. You give me the species they're describing for 4 points each.
Okay.
Number 1, blue-footed and red-footed. Number 2, ruby-throated, bumblebee, rufous-crested. Number 3, Adelie, chinstrap, and macaroni. Number 4, sooty, S-O-O-T-Y, sooty, black-browed and wandering. And then number 5, monk, rose-ringed, African gray.
Okay, then Marny, let's go ahead and lock in.
Okay.
Like I said, I feel good about 4 of them. Blue-footed boobies, I know are things. Hummingbirds for the second one. Penguins definitely for the third one. And then the last one, pretty sure is parrot. So
Yeah.
we were talking about swallow for the fourth one. Black-browed swallow, a sooty swallow, and a wandering swallow. But you mentioned birds of prey, which so far, well, I mean, no, parrot's not a bird of prey. They do have really pokey claws, though.
I'm up for whatever on that one because I don't think I've heard of anything with those words in them. But yeah. And
Yeah. I feel great about the other 4, though, which is you don't always get that with these midpoints. So you want to go with swallow, since that was kind of like the first one that we kind of kicked around, and smaller bird.
Let's do it.
All right. So we're going to say booby, hummingbird, penguin, swallow, and then parrot.
Okay, and we had similar answers, and the same ones that you were really confident in were the same ones that we were really confident in. We all both said booby, hummingbird, penguin, and for the 5th one, we said parrot, just the same as you did. For the 4th one, when I heard wander, the only one I had any connection to was the word wandering. And the word wandering brings up the word pheasant in my head. And I don't know if this is a thing or not, but wandering pheasant sounds like a thing in my mind. So I was able to convince Marty, and we said pheasant for the 4th answer.
Okay.
And you had booby, hummingbird, penguin, and parrot for the others?
That's right.
Okay. All of the answers in common are correct for both teams.
Wunderbar.
Neither of the answers not in common are correct.
Oh, boo-hiss.
It's absolutely not a small bird. The wandering albatross.
Oh, wandering
has-
albatross.
It has the biggest wingspan of any bird, like 3.5 meters. They're giant.
Oh, wow.
And they can fly forever and ever and ever without
When-
landing, which is how they got that name.
When Jonathan was talking about it being something bigger, my first thought was like, oh, I bet it's an albatross.
Really? Wow. Well, that's the end of the midpoint. Going into the second half, scores are 96 for Marny and Jonathan to 56 for Carmela and Chad. 96 to 56. All right, everybody, that is the end of the first half. Before we go on to the second half, I want to let you know that today's show is sponsored by Family Sounds. I am always excited to talk to you about Family Sounds. By now, you should know how it works. So they're a company that works with public media, that crafts stories, that does a great job of taking information and presenting it in a meaningful and powerful way. And the Family Sounds product is one where they will work with you and your family to capture your memories, record them, and place them into a podcast format. Now, I love this concept. I loved it as soon as I heard about it. Think about how special it is to be able to record these memories permanently in the way that you tell them with your voice. And even more than that, and this is the point that I wanted to make today, is that think about doing it now. Don't wait. Don't put it off for 6 months, because you never know what's going to change in 6 months. You never know what's different. And so take the time now to record the voices of your loved ones, of your kids, of your spouse, of your parents, whoever it is, whatever stories are there to be told. Take the time now to get together, work with Family Sounds, and create this treasure for yourself in the future. You won't regret it. This will be something that you treasure. It's going to be done really well. Family Sounds is the best in the world at this. This is an awesome opportunity. You can get all the details by going to family-sounds.com/TWA. That's right. It's family-sounds.com/TWA. There'll be a link in the show notes. Click on that. You'll go right to it. Check them out now. It's Family Sounds, your memories in a podcast. Today's show is also sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. So I think that we all know that life can be overwhelming sometimes. The reality is that there's lots of people who are burned out and they don't even know it. They're just overwhelmed, and lots of times this can make you feel like you're not motivated to do anything. You feel helpless, or you're detached, or just tired all the time. And, we think about burnout and we think about work, but, it's not the only cause. We can be burned out on lots of things. Even just the world around us sometimes can be too much. If you're feeling like this, BetterHelp could be perfect for you. BetterHelp Online Therapy is going to help you to remember to prioritize yourself, and taking time with somebody to talk about what's going on can help redirect and refocus you on the amazing things that are available to you in this life. This is a customized program. You pick out how you want it to work. Video, phone calls, even live chat sessions with your therapist. You don't have to use a camera if you don't want to. And it's much more affordable than the in-person therapy options. You'll be started in less than 48 hours. We love BetterHelp, and I can tell you that this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and our Trivial Warfare listeners get 10% off of their first month. You just need to go to betterhelp.com/TWA. That's right, that's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/TWA. Get yourself matched up with a counselor now, and get started on working through that burnout and finding some of that peace and some of that happiness that you were looking for. BetterHelp.com/TWA. Today's show is also sponsored by Every Plate. Every Plate is America's best value meal kit. They will deliver the ingredients right to your door. They are pre-measured with all the instructions ready to go for you to make an awesome meal in less than 30 minutes. It is the easiest way to eat affordably and still have home-cooked food. You won't break the bank, and you'll save time by not having to go to the grocery store so much, not having to worry about having all of the ingredients on hand, because they come ready for you. Are you tired of doing the same things again and again with our dinner. We get into this rut. It's like, okay, I can make this decently. I can make this decently. And every week, time after time, we find ourselves doing the same thing. With every plate, not only are we exposed to new foods that we're enjoying, but we continually try new things. And that's an awesome benefit of every plate. I remember one time Sebastian and I had quesadillas that was so well done. They were cheesy. They had the tortilla was crispy on the outside, and it melted in your mouth. It was so good. You could try every plate today. In fact, I hope you do. It's just $1.79 per meal. So we're talking about a real savings when you put it all together. Go to everyplate.com and enter code TWA179. That's right. You can get started with Every Plate today for just $1.79 a meal. Go to everyplate.com and enter code TWA179. Why don't you try some good food, some homemade food, in not a lot of time for not a lot of money? Everyplate.com using code TWA179. All right, let's get on with the second half of today's game.
Round 4, question 1 is in film. Born into Hollywood royalty, what actress put her own spin in a 1991 film and its 1993 sequel on a role first made famous on television in the 1960s by Carolyn Jones alongside John Astin, himself the patriarch of a movie dynasty?
We can lock in.
Yeah, the John Astin part helped immensely.
Yeah, as soon as I heard John Astin, I'm like, okay, I know the answer.
Yeah, as soon as you said the Addams Family, yeah, that triggered that for me too.
Yeah, so that would be Angelica Houston, who played Morticia. So we'll go with Houston.
Okay. Jonathan and Marnie?
Yeah, John Astin is Gomez Addams from the Addams Family in the TV show. Angelica Houston is part of Hollywood royalty. They went together really well, so we said Angelica Houston.
Everybody's correct on Angelica Houston. Nice job.
John Astin, adoptive father of Sean Astin.
I was going to ask that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Sean Astin is the son of Patty Duke, and I can't remember who his his biological father is, but he was raised by John Astin. So
that's really cool. Sean Astin's work in season 2 of Stranger Things is just delightful. I loved that character. As soon as I saw him, I was like, I love this guy. I know he's going to die. Just as soon as you see him, you're like, this character's made to die. But you love him. He's just so easy to love.
Or is he dead?
Spoiler alert. Actually, you don't know.
I don't know. He got chomped on pretty hard.
Yeah. Okay. Round 4, question number 2 is famous names. Speaking of Hollywood royalty, what is the last name of the actor Danny and his daughter Marlo, who have been instrumental in the founding and continued philanthropy of St. Jude's Children's Hospital?
You know what? It's better than anything I got. We can lock that in, Marnie.
Okay. Alrighty.
It depends on the definition of royalty.
Yeah.
I mean, we're limited to people named Danny.
Right, because Marlo's not triggering anything for me, even though that's a very unique name, I'd imagine. But, Danny's, throughout. Danny Trejo, which would be really, really cool to think about, but it's probably not him. Danny DeVito. So I don't.
Danny Glover. I'm like, we've exhausted the Dannys I could think of. Even going to Daniel, like all I get is like Daniel Day-Lewis. And that doesn't feel right.
I think he'd punch somebody if they called him Danny.
Yeah,
Marlo
probably.
Day-Lewis.
Well, and of course, George Harrison's son is named Danny. It's spelled differently, but I wouldn't call him Hollywood. Music royalty, yes. Hollywood royalty, no.
I can't think of anything better, and I know he's a very a nice person. What he did with Mara Wilson, when the film Matilda and all that. So I know he's a very, very giving person. So that would fit.
Right, and he was married to another actor, Rhea Perlman, and they did have children. And it would not surprise me if one of them's name was Marlo. Yeah, I think that's about as good as we're gonna get. We're gonna say DeVito.
Okay. Marnie, this is all on you.
Okay, so this is a very sort of vague, this sounds familiar kind of thing, more than a clear answer. But I feel like it's Danny and Marlo Thomas.
Is Danny Thomas Singing in the Rain? Is that Danny Thomas?
Or kind of like I think going back like a lot. It's not
No, okay.
shaking his head, but I do feel like Danny Thomas was an actor from a long time ago, and I think that Marlo Thomas was the person from the Free to Be You and Me project and the album and all that in the like late 70s, and that's who this is. And if it's not them, I have no idea. So that's what we locked in with.
All right, Danny and Marlo Thomas is the correct answer.
Whoa!
She's still on all the ads for St. Jude's.
Okay.
And she's married to Phil Donahue for 40 years now or something like that.
Right? Yeah.
Oh.
Marny, you are just killing it today.
It's playing into my my generational demographic because that Free to Be album was very popular when I was in elementary school.
You and Dustin
I would write
both.
Free to Be questions every time I wrote questions if people like them more.
You can write them for me anytime. I can hear the music in my head.
Same here. Okay, and round 4, number 3, is sports.
Sports.
What is the missing name in this golden gang of 5? Simone Biles, Gabby Douglas, Madison Cochin, Allie Raisman.
I think we're trying to say the same person.
Yeah. And I think we both misspelled it.
Yeah, because I looked up at what you wrote after I wrote my thing. I'm like, yeah, I think we're thinking of the same person.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to spell their name.
Want to lock in with that?
Yeah, because fortunately, I don't think spelling counts. So
Yeah, that's good.
All right, you're locked in?
yeah.
Yeah, so, Marny, I'm pretty sure this is... we know this is gymnast because Simone Biles and Gabby Douglas, right? I think that was the grouping that the 5th person was Michaela Maroney. Maroney, as soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, I think that is the last name, who's now more famous for the Michaela is not impressed meme when she didn't win the gold for her strongest event. You mentioned Lori Hernandez, I think? Yeah, Lori Hernandez. I am not sure which grouping she is.
Yeah, I'm not either. She might be the more recent group with Sunny Lee and the others. So if you feel like it's Michaela Maroney, I'm happy to go with that.
I know that Michaela was definitely in a group with Simone.
Okay,
for sure.
And I'm pretty sure she was not in this year's or the most recent Olympics. So if you're sure she was with Simone, we should go with her.
All right, we're gonna say Maroney.
Okay. I make that face a lot, actually, though.
Yeah, I think her face looks like my voice sounds.
Just unimpressed with everything.
Which is a lot harder to get famous for as a meme.
Yeah.
So what was the answer that you had, Carmela and Chad?
We also said Maroney. We definitely spelled it wrong in our 2 variations, but I'm like, this is that Maroney girl with the face.
Yeah, I was worried about Lori Hernandez, but she was the younger one, and she was scheduled to be in Tokyo this last time, but I think she hurt herself or at least didn't do some events. So, yeah.
So this is the group from the 2016 Rio Olympics, and it actually was Lori Hernandez.
Oh, no! No!
Yeah.
She was young then.
Lori
Michaela Maroney was earlier.
Well, Simone was with both of them then. That didn't help us.
I had it. I said it in my head, and I didn't put it down. Yeah.
I'm sure Michaela Maroney is nice and unimpressed with all of us today.
Oh, for sure.
That's right.
In music videos and stuff.
I was about to say, I don't know if she's nice, but she's definitely unimpressed.
After the 4th round, I have Jonathan and Marny at 116 and Carmela and Chad at 66.
I have the same score.
Okay. Ready up for round 5.
Round 5.
Number 1 is in television.
TV.
Starring as Steve Martin in the original 1956 Godzilla movie, what was the name of the Canadian actor who played Perry Mason on the CBS series from 1957 to 1966?
Yeah, we can lock in.
I think I would have a better shot at answering a question about actual Steve Martin.
I've heard of Perry Mason. I've never watched Perry Mason. I've never watched the old Godzilla.
They've done a newer version of Perry Mason. I believe they did it for HBO or one
Canadian.
Of those. I don't know. I don't know this one. I bet. I wonder if he's one of those wild and crazy guys. I don't know.
Yeah, should we just pull a Canadian Johnson? What's Canadian version of Johnson?
McMaple bacon.
Haven't heard that in a while. Maybe we should pull it out of the vault.
Yeah, we're gonna say Canada McMaple bacon. Hopefully, I mean, he retired from hockey. Maybe he took up acting.
Okay. Jonathan and Marny, what did you lock in with?
We said Raymond Burr.
Okay. The correct answer is Raymond Burr. I didn't know he was Canadian until I wrote that question either.
Da-da-da-dun. Da-da-da-dun. Was that the music from Perry Mason?
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I see him as a young man from the black and white TV show, but there was a series of movies in the 90s where he was an older, heavy gentleman with a beard, and I loved that Perry Mason. And that was also Raymond Burr, just an older man, and that's why I knew his name.
Older and even more Canadian. Okay. Round 5, question 2 is in art. What is the name of the pioneering sculptor who was responsible for some of the first kinetic sculptures that moved in air currents, and for which he coined the term mobile?
All right, we're going to lock in. Marny is just on fire.
Oh, boy.
And I feel like I've been extinguished. I don't know. I mean, I've probably seen them in various books, but I couldn't tell you that guy's name.
Well, I guess we can try to pull a name from what we were talking about earlier.
Skylar.
It's not a bad one. Goodness. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think we're gonna do much better than that.
So that's what we'll go with, Dustin.
Sure.
I feel like I've been discovered. And what did the other team lock in with?
So there was a large sculpture by this person outside the dining hall at my college, which made it especially frustrating for me when I missed the Learned League question about it earlier this year by putting Stabile, which he also made, as well as mobiles, but I'm pretty sure the answer is Alexander Calder.
Alexander Calder is correct. Nice job again.
It's turned into a runaway here.
Okay. And round 5, question 3 is in jurisprudence. I'd really love to hear somebody come up with a cute way to say that.
Jurisprudence!
If it ever comes up a second time. Okay, so round 5, question 3 in jurisprudence. What was the name of the landmark Supreme Court case that gives Fifth Amendment protection against self-incrimination to any person who is under arrest?
Yeah, I think we're on the same page.
Okay, if that's, I mean, it works for me. I think it's fine.
I think so.
Okay, we will lock in.
It fits our idea too.
That's a good question.
Good question.
Yeah.
I agree. That's the right answer. I just don't know if it's enough to just say the Miranda case.
if it's not enough, I don't have the V.
Yeah, versus who it was. Well, we'll say it, and if he needs us to give something more, then we'll throw something else out, but we'll say Miranda.
That's of sufficient specificity for what I'm looking for.
All right, cool.
What did we lock in on the other side?
That's what we locked in also. I have a guess. I have an idea of what I think the sort of full name of the case is, but if you don't need it, I won't risk saying the wrong thing.
Right?
I'm pretty curious what it was now. I'm going to accept the answer.
Okay. I think it's Miranda v. Arizona.
It is Miranda v. Arizona.
Yeah, I knew it was out west.
Job,
But
it's like Arizona, New Mexico. It's one of them, but I wasn't going to.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Arizona doesn't have the best history when it comes to arresting or pulling people over
Right.
or anything along those lines. They have a pretty terrible track record, actually.
I texted Jonathan or messaged Jonathan Miranda, and he said, I thought that was, the right to remain silent. And I said, yeah, the right to remain silent so you don't incriminate yourself.
Like, you know what? Cannot argue with that kind of logic.
It's good logic. So at the close of round 5, I have 146 to 76.
That sounds right to me.
Okay.
Not quite locked out yet. We're close.
No, I'm ready for a big rally.
Goodness. At least it'll make betting easy.
Yeah.
Betting is never easy. I've sunk myself every time. So round 6, question number 1 is in transportation. The workhorse of the American military air effort, the Lockheed C-130 is a 4-engine turboprop transport airplane that has been in production in one form or another from 1956 to the present. What is the mythological nickname of this aircraft?
Yep. Do you want to lock that in, Marny?
Sure.
All right, we're locked in.
It's a much better name for a plane than a mulligan. It's definitely the Hercules.
I'm glad you know it, because I was going to throw out some guesses.
All right, cool. Hercules.
Locking in with Hercules. And what does the other team have?
We also said Hercules based on the theme and based on having some basic understanding of old planes, but mostly the theme.
Hercules is correct. The C-130 Hercules. They're up to Super Hercules or Mecha Ultra Hercules or something like that now.
Hercules.
No, they call it Hercules.
Right.
Hercules.
That's when they add an extra set of propellers.
Yep.
All right.
It has 4 wings.
Round 6, number 2 is in television.
Televisiones.
What is the name of the title character of a new 2022 HBO Max family series? A girl who gains magic powers from Egyptian artifacts that she researches with her archaeologist parents in 1906. And if it helps, I will say that first name is acceptable because that's the name of the show.
Okay, let's lock in.
Okay, sounds good.
So, can't use Angelica because we've already used it. So,
I don't know what you mean.
so the other Schuyler sisters, there's Peggy and Eliza. Eliza sounds like a cooler name for a show than Peggy.
I just can't believe I haven't heard of this show. Those aren't ringing any bells for me, and I'm all over HBO.
So am I. I
am too, but I think family, you have to go to a kid's profile.
Yeah.
I never see some of the stuff that they have down there.
I was flipping through the other day, and I was trying to find something else, and I accidentally clicked Julia, but that was about Julia Child. So that's not the one that we're looking for. But if we're going to stick with a Schuyler sister, I think Eliza would be more likely to be a television show name than Peggy.
It's a better name in my book.
So we're gonna say Eliza and hope that this theme is gonna at least save us a little bit.
Yeah, sorry to all the Peggies out there.
Yeah.
We thought about the same thing, but instead of going with either of the first names, we thought that Schuyler was a great name for female
that's true.
On an HBO show that's being made currently. I don't know, but 1906, it makes we were trying to think of the name of the guy who discovered King Tut, the archaeologist. Carter. So I wouldn't be shocked if this is like Schuyler Carter or something like that. But we answered Schuyler.
Okay. Just for reference, Peggy came up earlier as the name of the astronaut on this.
That's right. I was like, I feel like have we used any other Schuyler sister other than Angelica?
Oh, wait. So the name of the astronaut was in the question, though.
Yeah, I said up front that the theme is in the questions and the answers.
Oh, that's the one. So no wonder we couldn't make Soyuz fit. We're like, what the heck?
Yeah, I just kind of wrote that one off.
Same.
But it isn't one of the Schuylers or all of the Schuylers. This character's name is Theodosia Throckmorton.
Oh my
Theodosia.
God.
Oh.
Theodosia.
So nobody got that one.
Dear Theodosia.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful song.
For the record, I'm kind of blaming my wife because she doesn't want to sit down and watch what the theme we're talking about is. So
Really?
I don't think it's a secret anymore at all. So.
The theme that we're talking about, which has somebody named Theodosia in it.
A theme that dare not speak its name.
Wonder what it could be.
Well, think about it for round 6, question 3, which is in technology. The MIT Artificial Intelligence Laboratory developed the first chatbot or natural language processing program way back in the mid-1960s. She was one of the first programs able to attempt the Turing test, and she was named after a character from a famous play and an even more famous musical. What was her name?
That's perfect, Marny. Let's do that. We're locked in.
yeah, so I think that's it with the play and the musical being Pygmalion and My Fair Lady.
Do you think it's Eliza Doolittle or just Eliza? Or is it just Doolittle?
Oh, I know. Well, if we didn't include Eliza, then I don't know if it would fit the theme. I guess it's one of those do the first name, and then if we need to, give the last name. I don't know if you're going to give an AI a last name.
Yeah. Say Eliza. Again. It's bound to be the right answer eventually.
And what have we got from the other team for the theme that dare not speak its name?
Marny, you were on this quickly.
Yeah, I get like Chad, based mostly on the play and the movie. Although once I thought about it, I think I convinced myself I'd heard of it in the AI context as well. We also went with ELIZA, which I think may have been an acronym, although I couldn't tell you what it stood for.
They're
so
usually
ELIZA
acronyms.
is what we locked. ELIZA is what we locked in.
ELIZA is correct. She definitely was named after the language learning student in Pygmalion and My Fair Lady. So if it had an acronym, I'm sure it was a very forced one to make it fit the cool name they thought of.
Yeah, what's the Z in there?
At the end of 6, I have 166 to 96.
166 to 96. That sounds right.
Okay. So unless I am even worse at math than I am at gauging when questions should take place, I think it's not a runaway.
Not a runaway. Totally agree.
Our gauntlet today's category is not at all Hamilton related.
Likely
that
story. Is that the name of the gauntlet? Just not at all Hamilton related?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Are you on board with that, Marny?
Sure. Sounds good.
All right. Our wager's locked in.
Are you good with that, Chad?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, our wager is also locked in.
Gauntlet question number 1. Daveed Diggs stars in the TV series Snowpiercer, based on a film of the same name by the South Korean director Bong Joon-ho, who plays Diggs' protagonist role in the original movie.
We're locked in.
Our answer is locked in.
Okay. Question number 2. King George III of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland was the grandson of George I, who was originally a Duke of Hanover in what is now Germany. George I inherited the throne in London as the closest living Protestant relative of his cousin, a queen of what name?
We're locked in.
All right, we're going to lock in our answer.
And question number 3 for the gauntlet. Hamilton won the 2016 Tony for Best Musical. What is the nickname of the British equivalent of the Tony Awards?
Makes sense to me, Carmela.
All right, you good with that?
Yep.
Then we are locked in.
I think we can go with the answer that you're talking about, Marny.
Okay.
With our first
right,
answer, it's not going to matter too much.
Right. True.
Yeah. All right, we're going to lock in.
Okay, question 1 was the Snowpiercer question. Carmela and Chad, can I have your answer?
We both answered the same thing at the same time. We said Chris Evans.
Yep, wonderful movie.
Had a good beard.
Not a blank.
It's grungy, And,
Yeah, had a real good beard. It was great.
And Jonathan and Marny, what did you have?
We had absolutely nothing. Snowpiercer sounded like a wannabe James Bond movie, so we thought about people who had done wannabe James Bond stuff and came up with Pierce Brosnan.
Not even remotely related.
Hey, look, when you don't have a connection, you make one up.
Post-apocalyptic James Bond.
I don't know anything about the movie. As far as I know, it's about dynamite, like avalanches and stuff, snow piercing.
Question 2 about the lineage of King George III. What did you have, Jonathan and Marny?
Marny, do you want to take it?
Sure. So we fumbled around for a while thinking of different queens that we were aware of and realizing that none of them really fit with the time frame. So we settled on Queen Anne because we felt like there was a Queen Anne at some time, and maybe it was the time that we needed.
We knew that it wasn't Victoria, Elizabeth, or Mary based on the other things we knew, so that's where we ended up looking for one that wasn't one of those.
And Carmela and Chad?
Yeah, this again was all Carmela. She's definitely reminding me that I need to study my royalty and my timelines. So,
mentioned the house that she belonged to earlier. Got the question wrong, but she was part of the House of Stuart. Queen Anne.
Ooh, man, if we got one right in this gauntlet, I'm feeling better.
And then number 3 is about the British equivalent of the Tonys. Carmela and Chad, what did you have?
I know that there is an award named for Laurence Olivier, and he was a huge theater star in the UK. So we said the Laurence Olivier Awards.
And then Jonathan and Marny, what did you have?
We discussed, Jonathan mentioned the BAFTAs, which I think might be the British Oscars or possibly the British Emmys. And then I threw out the Obies, which I think are something, but not this. And then we also settled on the Oliviers, as in Sir Lawrence.
Okay, so starting with the third. Hamilton won the 2016 Tony for Best Musical. What's the nickname of the British equivalent? And it is the Olivier Awards. Nice job, everybody.
Pretty sure Hamilton won that too when it opened on the West End.
That would surprise me zero. And then the second was about King George III. And the correct answer is Queen Anne. Everybody's right again.
Oh, we got two of them.
Hey.
Come on, Pierce Brosnan.
So for number one, you saw a trailer that involved a train and snow, and that's the entire purpose of that show. It's a train piercing its way through snow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And
They all live on that train.
I knew almost everything I needed to know.
one team has seen the movie, one team has not, and they're correct. It's Chris Evans and his magnificent beard.
Yes.
So I think these wagers are going to be fascinating.
Well, they are going to be fascinating. I can tell you that Marny and I, we made the logical bet to try and lock out. We bet 27. So we will take 166 minus 27 and put ourselves at 139. That means that Carmela and Chad, if you wagered 43, it's a tie. If you wagered anything more than 43, it's a win.
Well, we knew we were 70 points behind you. And if we were going to bet 70, we might as well bet all of it. So we bet 96.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Go home. That's right.
With the come-from-behind victory after trailing the whole dadgum game, Carmela and Chad are today's winner with a score of 192 to 139. Great finish, guys. Way to turn it around.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually have a little bit of a trivia thing about his Chris Evans's big giant beard in Snowpiercer. So he filmed that after the first Avengers movie, and the end credit scene where they're in the shawarma shop was filmed way after the rest of the movie. So if you notice, Chris Evans is holding his chin. And he's doing that because he had already grown the beard for Snowpiercer, and so they had to put something over it. So basically, he was kind of like holding the prosthetic to his face. And that's why he doesn't talk at all, and he's just holding his chin because
You're
he's covering
kidding.
up that Snowpiercer. Not kidding at all.
So that's all very recent then.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So Snowpiercer was 2013-ish, 2014-ish. So because the first Avenger movie was 2012.
Did not know.
Great piece of trivia,
wow.
and he's a good enough actor to pull off that I always just thought he was tired
Yeah.
while he was eating that shawarma. But yeah, this is absolutely right. It was they handled that better than the Superman with the mustache that he was covering up electronically. Just hide your face. That's an acting choice.
Well, fantastic finish. That means Carmela and Chad, you're our winners. Before we go, we like to give everybody a chance to do shout-outs and promote causes that they care about. Chad, you're on the winning team. We will start with you.
Well, just first, thank you to Carmela, and thanks for my wife to, keep me up with my trivia knowledge. But as for a cause, I'm very much a big proponent of adopt and not shop. I know it's a very common one on here, but it's very much very helpful to go to a shelter if you're thinking about getting a pet and maybe get one that's been neglected. And so, yeah, just try to keep that, and then spay and neuter your pets if I can echo Bob Barker. It's always a good one.
Absolutely love it. All right, Marny, your turn.
All right. Well, thank you all. This was a lot of fun. I've been a long-time listener, first-time caller, so to speak, to the Trivial Warfare. So I was a little nervous, but you all made it really great and lots of fun. So thank you for that. And I just want to give a shout-out to teachers and administrators and speech language pathologists and occupational therapists and paraprofessionals and everybody who works in schools, because I can tell you from my vantage point of connecting with a lot of school folks without being in a school myself, it's been a crazy year. I think we all thought this year would be easier than last year, and it was different, but it wasn't easier. And so we're coming into the home stretch now. And so just, if you see a teacher or someone else who works in a school, you have those people in your life, just tell them thank you and hang in there.
Love it. Totally agree. It has not been easy on the parents' side either.
True enough.
Oh my gosh. What's that?
Sebastian.
How old is Sebastian now?
He is 9.
9.
9, okay.
Yeah, 9 going on 25.
Yeah.
All right, and Dustin, you are a guest, so you as well. Shout outs, promote the causes that you care about. Easy for me to say.
Well, I want to shout out my wonderful wife, Brooke, for taking me to see Hamilton when the Denver touring company came through. We saw the very last show of the stay here, and it was all understudies, and they were all magnificent.
Oh,
it was so good. And for a cause, I just want to shout out what I typically do, which is about coral reef conservation. It's a cornerstone of the earth, and we've got to save them before it's too late to save them.
Absolutely.
End on a high note.
Yeah. Do you have a charity that you in particular support?
So there's lots of good organizations out there. The Ocean Conservancy and the Nature Conservancy are a good way to donate and get that money put where it needs to go.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that is the end of the show. So for Dustin, for Chad, for Marny, and Carmela, my name's Jonathan. This has been episode number 374 of Trivial Warfare, where it's not just trivia, it's war. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Trivial Warfare. Be sure to check out the revamped TrivialWarfare.com as your one-stop shop to submit questions, join the community, and get access to over 150 archived episodes. Warm It Up was written and performed by Matthew Stevens. This episode was edited and produced by me, Joel Sharpton. For help with your podcast, visit ProPodcastingServices.com.